What is up, everyone? Boshi here, and it is very early in the morning. I couldn't sleep, and on Discord, I saw that we got some news on the update that's coming out with Doom Tower, and so I decided, who needs sleep? Let's go ahead and make a video about this update. It does look really big, so I might split it up into two different videos. I might split up the second video into the specific things that are coming for the Christmas event versus the Doom Tower update. But we'll see how fast we can get through some of this stuff, and then I'll kind of judge from there. And let's go ahead and jump into it real quick, though. On the Discord, you can find this link in the announcements. I believe Valkyrie was the one that put it there, and it'll link you right to this page so you guys can look in detail after this video, or if you guys want to read along with me. But let's go ahead and jump right into it because there is a lot to cover. So this talks about the Doom Tower. Is almost ready to go live. Additionally, we'll showcase new champions, both the ones you can win in Doom Tower, so you can actually win in Doom Tower. I heard this was supposed to be like kind of like fragments, so we'll see how that is. Maybe they'll explain it further down below. And then they will also talk about ones that will release coming for the holiday season, so the Christmas fusion. Um, and then they're going to talk about some underperforming artifact sets. Cool. So this is something I was kind of looking forward to just because there are a lot of underperforming sets. And so we'll see how that goes. All right. So basics of Doom Tower. It is a new game mode that will feature 132 stages, 108 common floors, 12 boss floors, and 12 secret rooms. So these secret rooms, I'm guessing they'll probably get into what they are, but I heard they're supposed to be something like rarity specific or champion type specific, like attack champions only or HP champions. So that's going to be really cool. It will be available in normal and hard difficulties, both of which will be repeatable, and the Doom Tower resets every 30 days, erasing your progress, your ranking, and rotating some of the bosses. So this will be interesting just because it doesn't seem like you'll be able to climb it and be able to get to that final boss per se, maybe earn some gear, and it is looking like it says it is repeatable. But the reset every 30 days, I'm wondering if they're going to change up the floors every month. Like not make it the same exact floors in like the exact order in the previous month, or if they're going to keep everything the same. I can see them doing both, keeping it the same just because like progression for people, so people know exactly what's there and how to progress to the next floor. But I'm kind of hoping that they kind of change it up so it's not the exact same thing every single month, beyond the boss fights. So we'll see how that goes. So they are going to have a golden key and silver key system. For Doom Tower, golden keys will be required to access a floor for the first time. So it looks like we're going to be able to get 10 and 10, I imagine, daily. While silver keys will let you access secret rooms or replay boss floors that you previously completed. So you're going to need gold keys for progressing um, new floors, which is good, and then 10 for farming floors. So that's really good. I'm glad they're keeping them separate, just because sometimes you feel like in faction wars specifically, the keys, I feel like I want to farm some levels for glyphs and stuff, but then I'm trying to use those keys for progression. So that's good that they're keeping them separate. And then it looks like in both cases, the key will only be subtracted from your total if you successfully complete the floor or the secret room. So this is very similar to Faction Wars, where pretty much if you fail, you keep the key, which is really nice. It allows people to try a lot of different things and experiment without really being punished for it. And do note, these are daily, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's going to reset daily. So, I mean, even if like you try something, you don't get it perfect, you can try it again the next day and try to make it a little bit more consistent. Um, However, if you receive these keys as a reward for in-game activities, they will be available for you to use before the next reset. Okay, so you're going to be able to get these keys from in-game activities. I'd imagine possibly dailies, a new advanced daily that's possibly coming. But yeah, Doom Tower floors follow a classic scheme of champions fight through 3 rounds of enemies, while every 10th floor will feature a boss fight. These bosses will be different in their powerful scale with difficulty. Okay, so they get stronger as you move up the tower. Makes sense. It sounds like it's just going to be the floors are going to be 3 rounds of enemies. So exactly how Faction Wars is going. And then secret rooms will pose an additional challenge specific to conditions to complete, such as champion specific rarity, faction, or type. So these are going to be really cool. I feel like these are going to be fun. Rarity, kind of looking forward to seeing how the rarity stuff works because I know there's some commons or uncommons that are really good. I haven't bothered really to level any uncommons beyond Armiger, so I might have to get on that. But yeah, so it sounds like a pretty cool concept. They'll be releasing a video showing some insight on Doom Tower bosses, strengths, weaknesses, and some advice. So that's really cool. That's a really cool model. I really like that. All right, so what people are talking or want to know is rewards. So, on to the rewards. Completing a floor for the first time will earn you a set of rewards that cannot be farmed again before the Doom Tower is reset. Beating boss floors will reward you with materials for an artifact forge, and each boss will reward materials for a specific set. So it sounds like as you progress through floors, you'll get a set of reward or a set reward. So possibly like a piece, I'd imagine. And then repeatable, you can farm bosses for materials, and that is probably going to allow you to craft these specific sets, which is really cool because the forge like currently only has the 4 sets, so it sounds like they're adding a lot more sets to the forge, depending on how this all works. But let's go and jump into these sets. So the first set is Fatal. It's going to be obtained by the from Koldath the Magma Dragon. It's going to be a 2-piece set, and it's going to be 15% attack and 5% crit rate. I think that's an awesome set. Sometimes you're missing that little bit of crit rate, and you want to boost up your attack. So this is perfect for some of these attack champions that are there for major damage. I like the fact that it's a 2-piece set. You can honestly stack 6 pieces of this up to 45% attack percentage and 15% crit. Really major. Obviously that champion's going to be very squishy, but possibly putting out a lot of damage. So really cool set. I like it. Next is Untouchable, obtained from Borgoth, the Scarab King. It's a 4-set piece or 4 artifact piece set. Blah, can't talk today, guys. Sorry. 40 resistance and immunity for 2 turns. So they pretty much just took the resistance set and the immunity set and slammed it into one. Very PvP oriented, I feel like, unless there's a specific boss that needs you to be immune for the very first 2 turns of a fight. I mean, obviously the resistance is there for it, but it's a 4-piece set, so this just screams to me PvP. I don't really see this being very useful unless one of the bosses really means to do something in the very first 2 turns. So um, very good for PvP though, because obviously you want the immunity for the first 2 turns. You don't get the debuffs and all that. And then after that, if you survive, you still get that 40 resistance. So really cool. I understand why they made it a 4-set. I wish it was a 2-set, just because I feel like after the 2 turns, it's not worth it. But I mean, really, this is just a better immunity set when you look at it. So um, really cool. I like it. The next set is Affinity Breaker, obtained from Agrith the Nether Spider. It's got another 4-piece set, and it's going to be 30% crit damage. That's going to be big. And then 20% chance to deal a critical hit instead of a weak hit. So there was rumors about this. I think that was data mined about this set. Um, Obviously the crit damage is nice. It's going to be pretty big, specifically on things like enemy HP champions, like Cold Heart or Royal Guard. Um, The 20% to deal a critical hit instead of a weak hit. This is going to be kind of a unique thing. I was thinking this could be used on champions that you like to just run. So maybe your favorite champion just has a bad affinity matchup in certain dungeons that you have. So it gives it a chance to not just get a weak hit, but to crit hit on that. So that'd be kind of cool. And then I also thought this specifically for clan boss. So sometimes you have something like a frozen banshee in your clan boss team, that you happen to just hit that weak affinity, and then you're gonna have issues landing your poisons and stuff like that because of weak hits. Well, this kind of solves it. Obviously, it's not 100% chance; it's only 20, but it gives you a chance to you can swap it out if you really want to swap out this artifact set when you are against a weak affinity, and it gives you just a better chance of doing more damage. So, kind of cool. Depends on other possibilities for this set. But it is a four-piece set. But I guess if anything, it's four pieces for the 30% crit damage. So we'll see. But this will allow you to run some of your favorite champions in whatever content that you want and not feel as bad about it. So, um, very unique set. I like it. Nothing more to say about that. And then Frostbite is the last set, it looks like. And this is obtained from Seroth the Frostbiter. So, two-piece artifact set, 15% chance to resist freeze. Very PvP oriented, and I know this boss, I think specifically that drops this set, is supposed to land a freeze. So, um, probably going to be used mainly for this fight, but possibly used in PvP. Has a 10% chance to place a freeze debuff on the attacker, so it's going to be like a frost set pretty much. And then chances increase to 30, 45%, and 20, 30% respectively with more artifacts from the set. So that's kind of cool. It's going to allow you to pretty much have a pseudo frost set, which also protects you from other freezing abilities. Like if you use it in PvP, I believe like stuff like Tormin or Gurgo can possibly get counteracted by this, and then they can also get frozen if they hit you. So has its uses. Are you going to see it everywhere? Probably not, unless the meta becomes all about freezing champs. But hey, you never know. So, um, yeah, not. I actually like all of these sets. These sets all seem pretty cool. Very good additions. Nothing like too broken. Some of them are gonna have very niche type effects, but hey, all of the artifacts that's what we have now are the same way. So, um, yeah, fits perfect. I like these sets a lot though. So let's see. In addition to artifact materials, you'll also be able to win champion fragments by completing secret rooms. Okay, so that is the point of secret rooms, is you're going to be able to get champion fragments for these champions that we're just about to talk about. So that's going to be a major thing. Secret rooms are going to become very, very important then. Remember, you can only get this reward once per cycle. The fragments will refresh once the Doom Tower resets, so be sure to complete as many secret rooms as possible. I'm not sure if they're going to be rotating. Like you can get certain shards for a certain champion each month, or it's a random fragment. So we'll see if they explain that. But yeah, so let's go ahead and jump into champions. First one is Thea the Tomb Angel. So it's going to be a legendary force attack type champion that is for Night Revenant. A1 Befoulment, basic attack. Attack two enemies at random. Has a 75% chance of placing a Hex debuff for 5 turns. Each critical hit decreases the cooldown of the Not of This World skill by 1 turn. And then if you ascend it, you're going to get the additional effect of this debuff cannot be resisted. And same effect. So you're pretty much just ascending it to get the whole non-resistance portion. This could actually be pretty big considering the fact that that could possibly mean no accuracy on this champion. But let's go and read the other ones. Hex Reaper, attack all enemies, damage increased by 50% for each Hex debuff on the enemy team. So you're applying two possibly. I'd imagine this can be booked up to 100% to land. So every A1, you're going to land two. So, I mean, automatically you're increasing your damage by 100% for each Hex. Because you're already landing two if you A1. Stacks up to 300%, and then it removes all the Hex debuffs from all enemies after the attack. This could be huge depending on how this all works, but the Hex is going to be lasting 5 turns. So, I mean, you A1 twice. I mean, you're already getting 200% extra damage on your A2. Could be a huge damage dealer depending on how this kit feels, I guess. I don't know exactly how that's going to work. So the Knot of this World is the skill that's going to be getting its cooldown reduced. So this places a perfect Veil buff on this champion for 3 turns and then grants an extra turn. It's nice that an attack type champion can hide itself. So it's not attacked specifically by certain maybe champions. Now, obviously, it doesn't help you against AoE type abilities, but the fact that it has like it's a self protection ability is kind of nice. And then the passive has a 50% chance of placing a True Fear debuff on all enemies for 1 turn when an enemy loses 30% or more of their max HP in a single hit. Now, this could be huge. If you stack Befoulment, do a Hex Reaper. If you do enough damage, then this triggers and puts True Fear, which pretty much just stops everyone. So she's going to have actually a lot of protection in her kit alone. Specifically, if you build her with enough damage, this could be really big on at least the waves in Doom Tower. Boss fights, probably not as much utility in there, but for floors that are based off of just 3 waves of enemies, this could be huge. So, really cool champion though. I like the kit. Second champion is Gomlock Skyhide, a force affinity again, but a support type for the orcs. So A1 is going to be Soul Suck Tendrils, attacks 1 enemy, has a 50% chance of placing a Leech debuff for 2 turns, has a 50% chance of placing a Leech debuff for 2 turns on 2 random enemies if this champion has full HP. Okay, so I'm guessing maybe more abilities are based off of him having full HP, which means you're going to want to run him with shield champions or maybe even him in a HP or a shield set or divine set just to have a shield on him to keep him at full health. His A2, Fateful Trickster, attacks 1 enemy, has a 60% chance of stealing 2 random buffs from the target. Kind of cool. Also has a 60% chance of decreasing the target's turn meter by 50%, steals 50% of the turn meter's target's max turn meter instead if the champion has full HP. Yeah, so this champion's all going to be about protecting itself and keeping full HP. So running him alongside a passive healer or even a direct healer and shield champions is what you're going to want to do to get the most out of him. His A3 is going to be attack all enemies or Wild Surge. Attack all enemies 2 times. Each hit has a 75% chance of placing a big decreased defense debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. The first hit on each target also has a 75% chance of decreasing the turn meter by 10%. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Second hit on each target also has a 75% chance of placing a weaken, a big weaken, for 2 turns if this champion has full HP. So once again, the full HP thing, this could be huge. Decreased defense and weaken. And with the look of these numbers and it being legendary, I'm gonna imagine you can book this from 75% to 100%. So Wild Surge is gonna be huge, especially if you can make him go first. So if you build him with a decent amount of speed, and he prioritizes Wild Surge, which if he's like Dracomorph and stuff like that, he will. And decreased defense and weaken is going to be huge. It allows everyone to hit super hard, so that's amazing. And then passive Enchanter. Whenever 4 or more buffs are placed on the enemy team in a single turn, places a shield buff on this champion for equal to 15% of this champion's max HP for 2 turns. So, pretty much like I can see this happening in PvP where they have like something like a Siphi or something like that, and it's just going to be like a auto protection type of passive where it's like, oh, you guys are going first and getting all the buffs. Let me place a shield on myself to protect myself and try to keep my full HP so I can get the most out of all my other abilities. Really unique kit. Um, I'm interested to see how he is, specifically just because of the Wild Surge. This is going to be huge for people that can get Gomlock. But yeah. All right, third champion, Oros the Soul Cage, a Void Legendary. One that's not going to be through Void Shards, so it's only going to be available through the Doom Tower. So let's go ahead and jump into this one. So it's a Demon Spawn faction HP type champion. A1, Jagged Knuckles, attacks one enemy, places a shield buff on this champion equal to 10% of this champion's max HP. Okay, so you're automatically just going to get a shield for his A1. The shield's value increased by 1% for each poison debuff on the target. Okay, so that automatically tells me he's going to have a way of placing poisons. Otherwise, he's going to be reliant on someone that can place his poison, and I don't think they would do that. So let's go ahead and jump into his A2. Attack all enemies has a 75% chance of decreasing the turn meter by 15% of enemies under 1 or more poison. So if they have a poison, you can decrease turn meter. Okay, so simple. Also has a 75% chance of placing a 30% decreased speed debuff for 2 turns on enemies with 2 or more poisons. Okay, so if you run him with Bad L, you automatically get a decreased speed and you decrease their turn meter. And then has a 75% chance of placing a stun debuff for 1 turn on enemies under 3 or more poisons. Okay, so yeah, there's no way he doesn't apply poisons. So let's keep going. So instant activates a skill when this champion is revived by Elemental Conjurer. Not exactly sure what that means. I don't see Elemental Conjurer unless I'm crazy. So maybe there's supposed to be a champion that works well with him. I don't know. A3 places a strengthen debuff on all allies for 2 turns. That's huge. And an ally protection buff on all allies except this champion. So I think there's only one other champion that does this specifically. I think I could be very, very wrong, but I know Ursaga did a strengthen buff on herself and then did ally protection. This is going to add strengthen to everyone plus an ally protection. That is a really big ability. Wow. Okay. So that's going to be big. Okay, and then the passive for this champion is called Call of the Cage. So when attacked, has a 50% chance of placing a 5% poison debuff on the attacker. So, okay, when they're attacked, you have a chance to add poison. So, not very reliant on other poisoners, but this is only a 50% chance to apply it. Maybe books make that chance go up, but I don't know. And then whenever an ally is attacked while under a strengthened buff, has a 50% chance of placing a provoke debuff on the attacker. Okay, so synergy with Soul Bounty. And then increase this champion's max HP by 5% whenever an enemy receives damage from a poison debuff placed by this champion. Whenever an ally or enemy receives damage from a poison debuff placed by this champion, also decreases. Okay, so you're only going to be able to get these effects if you are the champion that applied this. So that's kind of just because they have to be attacked and then this 50% chance has to proc. These abilities, like specifically A2 and A1, they're going to benefit from other poisoners in the group. So Bad L, Frozen Banshee, Occult Brawler, Dracomorph, stuff like that. But his passive is going to be very unique to his own poison. So could be interesting. And then has a ally resist in all battles by 80% or by 80, which is pretty good. None of these other champions had auras. So those are the 3 legendaries, it looks like. I don't know if this is another fragment. It looks like there are going to be some more fragments. Okay, 3 more fragments possibly. So, Yeah, this is going to be a long video, guys. So I will most likely get through these three champions, and then we'll jump and make another video about the Christmas set of stuff coming. So, and the artifact changes, because it looks like they're not in this immediate area. So let's go ahead and jump through Royal Archmage. So Magic Support Bannerlord. A1 Arcane Dynamo, attack one enemy, fills this champion's turn meter by 10%, fills it by 20% if this attack is critical. Okay, so you're going to want to build crit damage or crit rate on him. Time Slip, attack one enemy, also attacks all other enemies if the first attack is critical. Once again, crit rate. Each hit has a 50% chance of placing a stun debuff for one turn. That's kind of huge. That's a big CC. After attacking, decreases the turn meter of each enemy without a stun debuff by 20%. So pretty much saying, hey, um, I either stun you or I slow you down by taking away or decreasing your turn meter. That's going to be really big, especially on a 4-turn cooldown. I'd imagine you can maybe book it down to 3. He's going to be huge because he has pretty much a built-in stun set on his A2. And yeah, so that's pretty cool. His A3 Psychic Guidance places a 30% increased speed buff, a 30% increased crit rate buff, and a 30% increased crit damage buff on all allies for 2 turns. This could be really big because if, depending on how the cooldown gets reduced by books, you might only have to build this champion with like 70% crit just because of the increased crit rate. Yeah, really big. I like these buffs together. It pretty much just shows that you want to do a lot of damage quickly. So, his passive is going to be immune to turn meter decrease effects. Very niche, I feel like, but could be cool. Specifically in arena. And then his aura, oh, surprise, surprise, arena battles by 17%. So not the biggest aura. I think most of them are 19%. So 17%, not the greatest, but if you don't have any speed or champions, he could become pretty useful. All right, next one, Infernal Golem, a defensive demon spawn magic epic. So A1, attack one enemy, has a 50% chance of placing a 30% decrease crit rate buff. Not amazing. It's okay, I guess. A2, attack all enemies, has a 20% chance of placing an HP burn debuff for 2 turns. The chance of placing the debuff increases by 20% for each enemy alive. So pretty much if you're going against a new enemy wave, it's a 100% chance to place HP burn. Seems good. Now against boss fights, that's gonna suck because it's only gonna have that 20% chance. um, but yeah, so yeah, I don't know. That could be good on waves, so it's gonna be good on floors with just the enemy waves, not boss fights. Or if the boss fight has ads, which I believe one of the boss fights does. So actually, Inferno Golem might be really good. Pyretic Release. Attack all enemies, has a 50% chance of increasing the cooldown of all skills by 2 turns on enemies under HP burn. That's pretty big, especially for the waves. Also places a shield buff equal to 20% of this champion's max HP. It is a defensive champion, so I don't know how much HP you're going to stack on him. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's nice to have some type of shield, though. Once again, has a elemental conjurer thing. I don't know. Maybe there's here's the elemental conjurer. So we'll get to that in a second. And then passive for Infernal Golem is Fiery Swath. Has a 10% chance of placing a fear debuff on an enemy for 1 turn whenever they receive damage from an HP burn debuff placed on themselves. Has a 10% chance of placing a fear debuff on an enemy for 1 turn whenever they receive damage from an HP burn debuff placed on themselves. I don't quite understand that. Yeah, I don't, because you're placing the HP burn on this. And from an HP burn debuff placed on themselves. So yeah, I don't understand this quite. Maybe it has something to do with Elemental Conjurer. Um, yeah, let's go ahead and this then has an aura of HP in all battles by 25%. So let's jump into Elemental Conjurer because maybe there's something there. All right, so force support for Dark Elves. A1 Magma Ball attack one enemy has a 50% chance of placing a block buffs debuff for 2 turns. Not bad. Block buffs is always nice to have. A2 Sweeping Dismissal has a 75% chance of removing all buffs from all enemies. Also has a 75% chance of placing a 25% weaken on all enemies. So this is really cool. It is a buff stripper and it's putting a weaken. So it's almost like a Madame Ceres. Not as good, obviously, but it is stripping the buffs and it's putting a weaken instead of the decreased attack and defense. So very similar, but pretty cool. I like that. The A2 or A3 revives a dead ally with 50% HP, then fills their turn meter by 50%. Will then also place a block debuffs buff on them for 2 turns, so somewhat protection on the person that you res. Will also revive Inferno Golem and Uros Soul Cage, so that refers to this guy and the legendary, this person, which is he's going to be really good, I think. And so we'll also revive Inferno Golem and Uros with 30% HP are on the same team and not the target of the skill. Okay, so pretty much means she has to be one of the last people standing. Then you res someone else. If you res someone else, you also get Inferno Golem and Uros back at 30%. Will then also fill their turn meter by 30%. So you're pretty much getting a res 3 people instead of just the res 1. If either Inferno Golem or Uros are the target of the skill, that champion will be revived with 50% and 50% turn meter and a block debuffs for 2 turns. Okay, so pretty much they're saying you either have to target not these two, or if you do target, it's just gonna be the same as you reviving a random dead ally. So the point of it, I think, is Elemental Conjure is supposed to be like the last person standing type situation. You revive a random champion, and then you'll also revive these two. So very interesting. I don't know if there's going to be specific like stages for maybe these specific fragment summon champions. I don't know. Very unique though. I mean, having champions like 3 champions work together. Usually it's like a duo, but 3 champions working together is kind of cool. So yeah. And then it looks like ranking, every player who completed floor 10 will get a placement in the Doom Tower ranking. These are separated into the following: global and clan. The rankings are further divided by difficulty, normal or hard. Completing Doom Tower 4s will award ranking points and increase your standing, much like you see in tournaments. When the Doom Tower resets, the game will display a pop-up with the current rankings to highlight the most successful players. So doesn't sound like there's going to be rewards associated with it, but there's possibly, because they do say like you see in tournaments, so could be possibly a thing. That is it for the Doom Tower stuff specifically. It looks like I am so sorry this is such a long video. But it looks like we're gonna get into the Christmas champions, so I'll go ahead and make a different video. This one is already long enough. And yeah, so we'll jump into that one in just a little bit. Check out for my next video on that one. It will be out shortly after this one. So yeah, let me know what you guys think so far of all the Doom Tower stuff, though. Let me know what you think about the sets and the fact that you can actually earn champions through the secret rooms. This could be huge, specifically depending on how hard the secret rooms are. So yeah, let me know and comment down below, like and subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you guys very soon in the next video. All right, see you.